What is up,
Oh,
Flick
yes,
Fans?
darling. It's time to talk about The Incredibles.
Okay, Edna.
No capes. Try it again, girl.
What is up, Flick Fans? Sorry about that. If you can't tell, we saw
The Incredibles 2! Yes! Yes! 14 years in the making and we're here! How did we get here? I don't know. I'm excited to talk about this movie. If you guys don't know how my reviews work, I like to talk about the good, the bad, and then give you my score. Madison is here with me today. We just saw a movie that my nose sounds like a train horn. A movie that we've been looking forward to for so long. The first Incredibles is in my top 10 movies of all time, Madison. That is impressive, so this thing had a lot to live up to. Let's go ahead and get into the review.
Yay!
So The Incredibles 2 is directed by Brad Bird and literally picks up right where the last movie leaves off. And I love the fact that it did that. I didn't think it was going to do a time jump, and it didn't. And I like the predictability of certain things about this movie. Basically, your plot here is superheroes are still illegal. So everything that happens with the Underminer, they get a little slap on the wrist for, but their goal is to make it to where superheroes are legal again. And that is your premise of the film. This time, Elastigirl is the spotlight as opposed to Mr. Incredible from the first one. Madison, I'm going to start with you since we're talking about the good. How did you feel about this movie? Did you like it?
Did I like it? Duh. I'm just gonna say girl power.
Okay.
That's all I need to say, really.
Thank you. And down votes on the review. Thank you very much.
No, but for real, Elastigirl.
She was great.
She was awesome.
She was awesome.
I don't know if you saw that picture on Facebook with Mr. Incredible's arm out from the first movie, and then it showed his arm out from this movie, and you could like see the fabric, the texture on the fabric.
The difference in textures?
That is what I was referring to with the animators.
Oh, okay. Well, that's one thing that Pixar does incredibly, that's the pun. Even in movies that I don't necessarily love from them, such as some of the Cars sequels, but the detail is just so incredible. I'm going to stop saying incredible. I keep saying incredible. Incredible. Said it again.
Oh my goodness. The humor.
Oh, it was great.
This is not a kid's movie.
No.
It's not a kid's movie.
There were some curse words.
Don't bring your kids.
Don't bring your kids. Hey, listen, we have been waiting on this for so long. So just opening weekend, keep your kids at home and just
Incredible.
It's an adult night. This is a date night. And I will tell you though, there is a little bit of, you did it too. You just said incredible.
I just wanted to.
There are some curse words in here and some adult themes and elements and some drinking going on.
He almost had to leave because of the curse words.
I did. She was covering my ears and my eyes the entire time. But I was just like, wow, I'm not expecting it to be I think the first one had some very adult themes and maybe it had some more adult elements. The intimate elements of this film were way more on the adult side than kids. And I think Brad Bird knows that because he knows that we were kids at the time when we first watched this and now we're adults. So we need some of that.
Are you really an adult, though?
No.
Above all, the best part of the movie is Jack Jack.
I wouldn't necessarily say the best part.
Yeah,
but Jack,
the best part.
For a lot of people, Jack Whoop, I think it was a fantastic. I can't really tell you a best part, but Jack was... I don't want to say anything because I think you guys expect where this humor is going to go, but there's a specific scene with a raccoon that I thought was just so funny. So that could have been a short.
He's funny and cute. He's so cute.
It was as soon as Jack came. Well, when he did a specific thing, everybody in the audience goes, "Oh," and I'm like, "All right, I know what you're doing, Pixar." And it's working. Now, you've had your chance. I want to talk about the voice cast real quick. Everyone is back, and they are on par. Get the par?
Incredible.
Because it's the last name. They're on par with the first one. The only thing is, I did notice a bit of a difference in Mr. Incredible's voice. You can tell Craig T. Nelson is getting older.
Oh, he got old after 14 years? Surprising!
It's not a negative. It's just something that I noticed. I could also tell that Dash's voice was a little bit different, but they can't really go back in time and pull the same kid. They had to get a new kid. They didn't really have a choice with these things. I did notice it, but it did not take me out because just hearing Mr. Incredible and oh my gosh, Holly Hunter, she was fantastic. The entire cast, hearing Samuel L. Jackson's voice back was awesome. And then Edna, oh man, every scene with these side characters, they would come on screen and I'm like, they were in it, I believe, more than they were the first one.
Yeah.
But I wanted more. I wanted more from Frozone. I wanted more from it. I think it's just because I like them so much, but they were so great in this movie. And the story, while Pixar didn't really break any new ground with this specific story, it's one that we've seen elements of it before. It's just so well done. The little conversations that the characters have. There's one scene where Elastigirl is sitting down with the co-head of the corporation. I can't remember the girl's name, but they just had a great conversation. Such fantastic dialogue. There's dialogue between Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl that's just so like adult and great, and you can tell there's subtle things in there that Brad Bird did. He knows how to write a good script, and he delivers once again with, I don't think, a sequel that is anything that you weren't expecting, but once again, that's not a bad thing. It feels like a natural progression from movie 1 to movie 2. That's why it's so hard to compare these two, because it's like, oh, it picked up right where the other one left off, and it feels like there is literally not a 14-year gap, but a 5-minute gap between the two, and I can't explain the feeling that I got watching this movie. It wasn't like, oh, I got teary-eyed, I got emotional, but I was sitting there like, wow, I'm watching a sequel to The Incredibles. And you guys, if you're a big fan of the first one, you know what I'm talking about, because this movie holds a special place in people's hearts. It does ours, and that's why I'm so happy to say that it did deliver on that fact. And I was very happy, I had a smile on my face walking out, and it's 100% absolutely one of my favorite movies of the year. I'm not going to compare it to the first one. You guys will figure that out when I do my ranking video on Saturday.
The ranking video of The Incredibles? There's only 1 and 2.
Of the Pixar. Of the Pixar films. I need to title that differently.
You had a lot of goods, so basically you just liked the whole movie.
I didn't like the whole movie. I love the whole movie because it was incredible. Would you say the movie was incredible? Yes!
I'm just going to have to hear you do Edna's voice for the next week.
Yes, darling. Oh, yeah.
Wait, that one was weird. I don't like that.
My face is getting red. I'm losing oxygen. So I'm sure I'm going to remember more things that I like later, so check that out on my Letterboxd page. I'm going to write a full review on there, but I want to talk about the bad real quick, because with all the good, there comes some bad. Naturally, there is some bad.
The only thing that comes to mind is maybe that the ending was predictable.
Well, not just I agree with you there, but not just the ending. It was really just the entire premise behind the villain. The 5-minute mark into the movie, I'm like, I think I know what's going to happen.
And I whispered to you,
and you knew exactly what was going to happen.
Then I got in trouble for whispering.
You did, but that's exactly what happened, is what we predicted. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because it's not about if I predict something in a movie and it comes to pass, but the movie building up to it is just like, then I'm disappointed. But the movie building up to it, it was more about the journey with The Incredibles 2. And they're not trying to break, what are you laughing at me for?
The journey.
They're not trying to break new ground. That's the thing, is this story, this movie, and I hate to say it like this, but it was a bit predictable, but in the best way possible. Brad Bird took everything that people loved about the first one. He mixed it with some new elements. They updated the graphics. They gave us a story that went in a completely different direction, but one that we kind of anticipated, and delivered on all of those things so dang well. Just the color and the scheme and everything behind it. But it was a bit predictable, so I guess I do have to put that in the negatives. And while the villain was a bit predictable, I will also say the villain was a little bit just not as good as Syndrome. And I hate to compare, but Syndrome was a fantastic villain. Now, sure, you look at Syndrome, and he might have been a bit predictable as well, but I was a kid when I watched that, so I didn't see that coming. I did see this one coming.
So you're saying the movie was like a roller coaster.
It was like a roller coaster.
You know where it's gonna end, but you had a heck of a ride.
Wow, that was really good. Wow. Wow, I'm impressed. You're Elastigirl! Pull yourself together!
My score for The Incredibles 2
is... Just Incredibles 2, there's no the.
Okay, let me start over. My score for Incredibles 2 is a 93.
Whoa, 93. You know what's so weird is I had a score in mind, and it's actually going to end up one-upping you because mine is 94. I swear I didn't come up with that on the spot.
Isn't that what Rotten Tomatoes has?
Oh, is it? Is it? I think it is actually.
You can't have the same
score.
score.
I don't mean to have the same score.
It.
The only reason I have a 94 is because I wanted to round up. If I give it a 95, that's rounding up. I wanted to round up to a 10 so bad, but my small issues with the predictability and the villain, I can't give it that score. I have to keep it rounded down to a 90, but come on, guys. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, so there you go. But the most important thing is, what do you think of The Incredibles of Incredibles 2?
Don't even start with me.
What do you think of Incredibles 2? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did it measure up? Did it deliver? Is it DiGiorno? Do you guys think that the next movie is coming soon? Are you excited for
another one?
Yeah, another one. Yeah, they better have another. I'm going to be so mad if they don't have an Incredibles 3.
Well, we got to wait 14 more years.
All right. And one reason you guys should comment your thoughts is because you could be featured on my next comment spotlight. And today's comment spotlight comes to us from James Johnson, who commented on my Alex Strangelove review. He gave his thoughts, and then he said, great review, and he subscribed to my channel. James, thank you so much for subscribing, giving your thoughts, comparing that movie to Love, Simon. Thank you so much for everyone who continues to comment and give me those thumbs up, because they really do help, guys. I loved Incredibles 1 and Incredibles 2. I cannot wait to rank my favorite Pixar movies. Gotta wake up early and do a Netflix review, so I will catch you guys. We will catch you guys later. Anything you gotta add?
Nope.
Okay.